The headline is simple yet heavy. The Gordie Howe International Bridge, connecting Detroit and Windsor, is set to open on July 27 after a summer of political tension. This $6.4 billion Canadian dollar project, or about $4.5 billion US, has reshaped the skyline of both border cities and will carry roughly $300 million of trade each day. It is the concrete symbol of Prime Minister Mark Carney's push to build infrastructure that sticks in the wake of the Trump trade war. The bridge was largely finished early this year, 13 years after Canada and Michigan signed an agreement that allowed construction to begin, a timer stretched by pandemic-related delays. On February 10, President Trump posted on social media that he intended to block the bridge's opening. The planned early June ceremony was called off after invitations had already been sent. Since then, his administration offered shifting explanations for his opposition. One of the first objections from the White House stemmed from a meeting in Washington between Matthew Moran, billionaire scion of the family that owns the Ambassador Bridge upstream since 1979, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Less than a month earlier, Moran had donated $1 million to a super PAC supporting Trump. Trump's post included a claim that the bridge used no American workers or steel, a claim the industry has since debunked. He also longed to punish Canada for what he described as its exploitation of the American economy and its renewed ties with China. The most technical point of contention was the toll arrangement. The bridge is jointly owned by Canada and BOM Michigan, although Canada paid for the entire construction. Under the original 2012 agreement, once tolls recover construction costs, perhaps 50 years from now, the two governments would split any revenue not needed for maintenance and operations. Pete Hoekstra, the United States ambassador to Canada, publicly stated that the Trump administration was upset about that split. The short-term transit tolls will go to the U of the transportation. But the longer-term revenue will be shared, according to the 2012 framework. The current deal finally settled those questions about tolls, allowing the bridge to open under Canadian direction. Trump, in a social reconstruction posted on Facebook, said, "Thank you and congratulations to the Canadian government. May we both have many years of success with this wonderful new development." The news was welcomed on both sides, reducing the potential for a trade law standoff at the busiest cross-border trade corridor. A $4.5 billion U.S. investment, a $300 million daily trade conduit, and a new symbol of cross-border cooperation now cross the 45-degree bend at the U.S.-Canada border. This is news not only for policymakers but for people who rely on the daily flow of goods and people between Detroit and Windsor. That is the story behind the bridge that finally opens the next month. Thanks for listening, and keep following for more developments on major infrastructure projects across North America.